20% of U.S. uranium, when uranium is the main component ingredient, the main material necessary to make nuclear weapons. And to give Russia 20% of our uranium in this country, and to know that while the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton's Secretary of State Department, while they were signing off on this and agreeing to this, $145 million was flooding from Russia, from people connected to the Russian government and the Russian nuclear officials who wanted to get their hands on this, that their people, their associates, their friends, were flooding, quote-unquote, donating $145 million to the Clinton Family Foundation. And Bill Clinton was getting $500,000 for a speaking fee in Moscow to a Moscow bank connected to the Russian government. That this was happening while the transfer was taking place. Now, does that mean that for sure this was a quid pro quo, that it was true bribery, that it was true? Does that mean that Hillary Clinton and the Obama administration were actually committing crimes and trading uranium for all this money? Nope, doesn't mean that at all. I'm not saying it proves that. Hillary Clinton could be right when she said, her words, the timing was coincidental. Okay? She might be right. She might be telling the truth. I don't know. But are you going to tell me this doesn't warrant an investigation? Are you going to tell me if this was Trump, that this wouldn't be investigated? But taking it a step further, even before it's investigated, are you going to tell me it doesn't at least warrant being in the news? It doesn't warrant ABC, NBC, or CBS talking, even reporting, even telling people? Because this information was just uncovered, folks. Just uncovered that the very nuclear officials that were working to get their hands on this uranium were engaging in attempted bribery and kickbacks and extortion and money laundering and all kinds of illegal racketeering type information with the U.S. and U.S. officials. They were attempting to engage in that kind of stuff. Oh, and by the way, the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton's State Department deliberately kept that information secret from Congress. Didn't inform Congress that we have people trying to engage in illegal activity with us. Just chose not to tell them. The FBI just released this information. The Hill in their investigative report came out with this last week. And guess what? No interest in this. No interest. As Newsbusters reports, quote, during Sunday's Face the Nation, moderator John Dickerson became the first member of the big three networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, to crack the broadcast TV blackout of the Hillary Clinton uranium scandal. But his mention of the story came 5 days after this scandal was exposed, where the FBI was investigating Russian bribery of public officials to purchase radioactive substances, uranium. Total coverage time on CBS's Face the Nation, 69 seconds. 69 seconds. But ABC, NBC, and CBS Evening News and Morning News, still not 1 second on this. Not one. And by the way, folks, the FBI director, while all this was going on, was Robert Mueller, who today is the one in charge of investigating Donald Trump and whether he has any connection to Russia. What Newsbusters goes on to point out is they say that the broadcast let me read to you what they say. It's just an amazing statement. The broadcast network morning and evening news have so far failed to provide even a single second of coverage. Now, we're talking about the evening news and the morning news. We're not talking about those 69 seconds on Face the Nation, okay? We're talking about the actual hard news. Not 1 second yet has been devoted to even covering the October 17th report from the Hill, which revealed new details in the Clinton-Russia uranium scandal, including how the FBI had been investigating a Russian bribery plot months before the Obama administration approved this controversial uranium deal. In fact, the only broadcast coverage at all of any kind was 69 seconds during CBS's Face the Nation on Sunday. The network's blackout is all the more striking given the airtime those shows have devoted to other stories that they do consider worthy of reporting. So in 2017, this year, Newsbusters points out, here's the things that ABC, NBC, and CBS, the networks, did consider newsworthy enough to go ahead and report on. Ghost stories. A full 1 minute, 48 seconds of network news time. This is ABC, NBC, and CBS morning and evening news shows so far this year. Almost 2 minutes on various ghost stories. Almost 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 46 seconds on claims of alien abductions. Folks, we're talking about ABC, NBC, and CBS, their evening news, their national world news, the biggest, most important news for them to cover. They did stories on so-called alien abductions. Over 4 minutes and 11 seconds on the search for the Loch Ness Monster. Almost 19 minutes, 18 minutes and 42 seconds on various conspiracy theories about what happened to Amelia Earhart. So, the networks have had time to do stories on Amelia Earhart, the Loch Ness Monster, alien abductions, ghost stories, but not 1 second of reporting on the latest bombshell revelation involving the Uranium One deal and the attempts at bribery, kickbacks, and everything else between the Russian government and U.S. officials, and this being uncovered by the Obama administration, the FBI, but kept secret, not reported to Congress because they would have shut down the deal. And meanwhile, we sign over 20% of U.S. uranium to Russia, the key component in making nuclear weapons. They got their hands on it, and while that was happening, you had Russian officials and Russian operatives, quote-unquote, donating $145 million to the Clinton Family Foundation. And that's not only is not worthy of investigating, that's not even worthy of ABC, NBC, or CBS even reporting as part of the news. I guess it doesn't rise to the level of seriousness, folks, as ghost stories, alien abductions, Loch Ness Monster, Amelia Earhart, right? But you folks tell me, if everything were reversed, and this were Donald Trump and his administration signed over 20% of U.S. uranium that's used to make nuclear weapons to Russia. And while this was happening, it was uncovered, it was found out by the FBI that, what do you know, the FBI under the Trump administration knew full well and was investigating how the Russian officials were trying to engage in bribery and kickbacks and extortion and everything else to try to illegally get their hands on that uranium. And Trump and his administration knew full well that they were doing that, but went ahead and transferred the uranium to them anyway, went ahead and let them buy it anyway. And by the way, while all that's happening, Melania Trump is getting paid $500,000 to speak in Moscow, and $145 million from the Russians are being flooded into the Trump Family Foundation. And the Trump administration kept it secret from Congress, hidden from Congress. If that came out, how many of you out there think ABC, NBC, and CBS would refuse to report on it? Pretend like it's not even a story worthy of the news. What's happening in the news? Well, doesn't seem to be anything really going on. Let's talk about alien abductions. Anybody out there think that would happen? Okay. So I know I use harsh language when I say things like journalistic malpractice, but that's exactly what this is. They are abusing their First Amendment constitutional rights to freedom of the press. They are abusing it. You're listening to The Bob Duke